Okay, so excited today to discuss things with Investigo. We've got Ross Burton and Jessica Petersen join us today. How are you both doing today?
We're
Great.
good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Awesome. Well, the reason I reached out was I noticed that I think it was Jessica actually posted some positions for some Agentforce talent. And this was from one of my students in my Agentforce Academy live training class, and messaged her and then looped Ross in from there, and just trying to learn more about what is happening out there at the ground level with actual Agentforce implementations. And I think the first question I would have is, give me your elevator pitch for Investigo, and what do those that have not heard of Investigo need to know?
Yeah, so good starting point. Investigo, very simply put, we're a recruitment agency or a staffing agency that specialize in delivering Salesforce talent solutions. What's quite unique about Investigo is there's a group of about 20 of us here in the US across four different offices: Philadelphia, New York, and then the West Coast, which myself and Jessica run, is Denver, where Jess is based, and then San Diego, where I'm lucky to be based. And all of us across those offices have a wealth of experience in not just technical recruitment, but in Salesforce focused recruitment. So I guess a simple way to put it is we maximize both Salesforce customers' investments in Salesforce by bringing them the right talent and the right resources on both a full-time and a contract basis. And then we're also super lucky to work with a number of amazing Salesforce partners as well. And we help them bring in the right Salesforce resources across sales, delivery, and yeah, we do that both on a full-time basis, placing critical hires in full-time positions. And then we've also got a very trusted pool of US-based contractors that we obviously contract with our clients across the partner and the customer ecosystem.
Excellent. So, I saw that post from Jessica looking for specifically an Agentforce developer. I was curious about those positions that you're hiring for. Is it strictly so far what you've seen? Has it been mostly on the development side, or are there Agentforce openings popping up in other roles as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the customer side, it's primarily people looking for technical resources, so developers that understand the concepts around Agentforce and what they need to do to get agents up and running and into place. On the partner side, I think it's a little bit different, right? Because the two segments are so segmented, right, in terms of the types of talent they look for. I'd say we're definitely still seeing the demand for the technical resources on the partner side, but also like Salesforce as well, right? Partners are looking at people to sell these Agentforce solutions that they're building.
Excellent. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, I just was gonna say kind of more to that.
sure.
Yes, we're definitely hiring Agentforce developers. I just actually was lucky to place an Agentforce developer or architect who will be growing the Agentforce practice for one of Ross's clients, who is a Salesforce partner. And we have a number of these positions upcoming as well across at least three clients for me personally. Two are also in the Salesforce partner ecosystem, and one is an asset management organization. And also, just a quick thank you to your student who connected us, Mike. I know it just goes to show the importance of this ecosystem.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it was Jeannie Mueller, and so shout out to her. And
Thanks,
I'll
Jeannie.
yeah, I'll link to her as well, and so she'll get a little traffic from this perhaps and visibility. And so yeah, I've been fascinated with the quick pivot into AI with
Mhm.
Salesforce and the advent of Agentforce, even though Einstein's been around for several years. But really just curious about how you've seen the market change. I'd be interested to see both of your perspectives from your respective seats as well. How's the
Mhm.
market changed in the past 2 to 3 years with, I guess, coupling with the advent of generative AI and ChatGPT crossing the chasm and all that?
Yeah.
What's changed in the hiring space in the market?
Well, I mean, if you're just saying what's changed in the last 2 to 3 years, I guess my initial response would be what hasn't changed. Um, and if we're looking specifically at the Salesforce ecosystem, it's been a turbulent 2 to 3 years, right? There's no denying that. I think we've seen an influx of talent that's joined the Salesforce ecosystem, which is fantastic. Um, and that's talent that's joining at kind of the start of their Salesforce careers and their journey within the platform. which is, I think, led to this wider perception that the ecosystem itself is kind of saturated when it comes to talent. And whilst that's true in some respects, I think there's a huge difference between kind of the entry point and the entry starting point within the Salesforce ecosystem, and then the more senior and the more niche roles within the Salesforce ecosystem. So where we see the demand kind of shifting and where we see our services being most relevant and desired and needed by customers is when they're trying to find the niche, hard to find talent at the kind of senior end of the scale. And in the last 2 to 3 years, we haven't just seen Agentforce and the implementation of different AI solutions across the technical ecosystem, but within the Salesforce ecosystem specifically, we've seen new industry specific tools launched left and right. We've seen acquisitions, right? We've seen the growth of the product portfolio of Salesforce, which is fantastic. And I think a huge opportunity for people to build a specialization. So yes, I'd say AI and Agentforce has given more opportunity for people to diversify their skill sets and the job market to grow with those pieces of the puzzle. But also, HLS Cloud was launched recently. Manufacturing Cloud, Automotive Cloud. These are all clouds that have been launched by Salesforce in the last 2 to 3 years that are building that opportunity for people to specialize. So, yes, I think for people breaking into the market, it has been a little bit tougher because there's a lot of talent at that entry point right now. But at the senior end of the scale, in the niche side of the scale, when it comes to industry specific tools and different technologies, I think there's a huge opportunity for people to become specialists and build their skill sets and careers in those spaces. So hopefully that answers the question there, Mike. I think we've seen a lot of change, but I think that change has given birth to a lot of opportunity as well.
Okay, excellent. What do you think, Jessica? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, we're definitely seeing more niche positions, and of course, Salesforce has been pushing more industry-specific cloud solutions for the last couple of years. But it's cool to see that Agentforce really transcends this and is a solution for all business types. And um, we also see a number of on-site positions too. So even for, maybe what would be considered a more entry-level position, like an admin, for example, might be something that we would see. But in the last couple of years, people have been more focused on remote work. So I think now, you know, organizations are kind of getting back into a hybrid model or wanting local resources. So we can assist in that area too, and continuing to see a demand in that area.
Okay, excellent. So you mentioned, I think, Jessica, you'd placed or had three different things that you're recruiting for. So can you give me some idea or flavor as to those, what you're seeing as far as the Agentforce hiring and what types of clients and implementations? Would these be service related or sales or health cloud or financial service, or do you have much details as to, or seeing a trend developing as far as areas? And Ross, you mentioned kind of the path to success now is niching down into a specialty in one of those clouds. Are you starting to see certain areas really emerge as like the sweet spot for Agentforce, or is it all over the place?
Yeah, good question. Definitely still a need for developers primarily on the Agentforce side, as well as QAs, architects, implementation consultants. But what we've seen primarily is just need for real AI enthusiasts who are true trailblazers doing self-study boot camps, such as the one that you offer, Mike, and upskilling using LLMs and GPT in their daily lives, who are really just interested in pushing the boundaries of, creating cutting edge solutions in Agentforce. And of course, we're seeing POCs for clients across financial services, healthcare, manufacturing, insurance, travel, tourism, even nonprofits. So, again, cool thing about Agentforce is it really transcends, that industry focus. It's not limited to one particular industry and can create a lot of efficiency for any organization, really. But some of the current use cases we're seeing are surrounding call center and customer service and sales support.
Yeah.
Agents are being designated or designed to actually provide helpful information and create um, and route cases properly, but really to just reduce the volume of cases or tickets or even backlog that's being created for organizations. And I actually had an opportunity to attend our Salesforce marketers user group meeting here in Denver just last week. And Chelsea Cordova, she's a Salesforce SE, presented on kind of the future use cases of Agentforce for marketing, which was really interesting. And I'm happy to share her deck with you, but the future use of Agentforce combined with Data Cloud and Marketing Cloud Advanced will allow for, automated marketing campaigns and creating tailored customer journeys with splits in the consumer experience or different automated touch points for Slack, text, WhatsApp, email, social media, what have you, just based on their customer 360 profile and different interactions using if then logic, which is a little bit different than what we're currently seeing, right? So it's really cool to see, with Data Cloud and Marketing Cloud integrations that are very integral here, what the future will hold.
Yeah, just jumping in, Mike, I think as Jessica mentioned, it definitely does move across different industries. And I think when Agentforce is what version are we now of Agentforce? I think is it 2 point
To
whatever?
whatever,
Yeah,
2.1, 2DX, whatever.
yeah. I think when we get to version 5 or 6 or whatever, we'll see use cases across every different industry. But I'd say financial services and healthcare are predominantly two of the ones that we're seeing early adoption because I think they're the ones that have probably the biggest call centers, the biggest online demand for customer support, chatbots existing already on their website. So I'd say predominantly a lot of the use cases we're seeing and we're speaking with candidates that have already hands-on Agentforce experience are coming from those two verticals specifically. Not surprising though, right? Because they're the two biggest verticals that Salesforce serves. So I think that's always going to be where the market goes first with these new technologies and where Salesforce wants to get their enterprise level accounts up and running because they have such close relationships and they'll probably help them with a lot of that work to use it as a use case example, right? So I think those two industries specifically, we're seeing a lot of use of Agentforce and practical application of it already.
Excellent. So you're seeing some candidates with some Agentforce experience. Have they done prior implementations, or is it representative of Trailhead experience or
Right.
proofs of concept that they built for their own portfolio, for example? Or what
Yeah.
have you seen out there?
Well, look, I mean, we've definitely seen all of those things, those three things you talked about, the proof of concept, the actual hands-on work, and then delivering a project, and then obviously trailhead, self-learning, building their own portfolio. Those are the three things that we'd be looking for to see someone be a truly Agent Force qualified candidate right now. But the third one of those, the actual, sorry, the first one, the actual project work, like that's difficult to get, right? Like you have to fall into a project like that. You're getting lucky, right? If you're already getting hands-on building an agent force for a customer or building an agent for a customer, I should say. Um, what we're trying to find for some of the companies we're working with, yeah, is absolutely people that have that hands-on agent force experience. But really, what we're looking for are people and individuals that have done that self-learning, that have been on to Trailhead and got the certifications, and gone further than that and actually built agents in their own sandbox and have really got hands-on with the technology to show the use case that they've developed. And we've been lucky enough to connect with probably over 100 candidates that in some way, shape, or form have either got hands-on experience on a project and built agents for an actual paying customer, or they've been smart enough to build their own use cases and they've been able to showcase those use cases to customers. And some of the customers have been like, wow, that's amazing. You have clearly understood the concepts. You've done the self-learning. You've built an agent that's up and running and working already by learning the platform yourself. And that really is the sort of the talent that I think to myself and Jessica has stood out more so than someone that's just been lucky enough to jump onto an Agent Force project and then hasn't really done any self-learning after that. Doesn't really show like that curiosity, that passion for AI. And I think those candidates that have done as much of that self-learning themselves and have built the agents themselves have really set themselves apart in the conversations we've had.
Excellent. So, Ross, I know you're heavily involved with SoCal Dreaming or Southern California Dreaming. I'm not sure what the official name is, but I know those community events can be great for networking and for learning, and probably at those events as well, there's a lot of thought around those AI use case scenarios. And Jessica, you mentioned in that Denver marketer meetup use cases, and that's something that you can relate to then. And so, Ross, I would like to know more about your involvement in SoCal Dreaming and just the impact of Agentforce on these community events and where you see the future of these meetups.
Right. Well, look, I mean, SoCal Dreaming, I think started as a conversation that maybe a couple of different people have had over the last 5, 6, 7 years, ever since these dreaming events became a concept in the Salesforce ecosystem. And I was lucky enough to get connected with Brandon, who really is the foundation of SoCal Dreaming, Brandon Cassis. And he and myself got speaking 3 or 4 years ago. We had the idea, it didn't go anywhere. We got reconnected at the start of last year, and we decided this was the year that we were going to make it happen, or last year was the year that we were going to make it happen. And somehow we did. We pulled together a one-day event, and it was across 2 different locations in a beautiful peninsula in Newport Beach, overlooking the bay, where there was $10 million yachts driving past on a on a minute by minute basis. And yeah, it was truly amazing. We had 150 people attend. I think we had upwards of 35 different sessions. We had a keynote where Marissa Rosen, the COO of Salesforce Industries, joined alongside 2 certified female CTAs from Salesforce directly, and a couple of other industry leaders in the SoCal area. We got to talk about all of the things that Salesforce were doing and learn a little bit about what was going on with Salesforce. And it was just a really great event, and it was awesome for the community to come together. And we're excited to do it again this year. Be a little bit earlier. I think July 24th is the date versus August it was last year, and we'll have more information coming out about that soon. But it's just awesome to be embedded in that local community and to give back to the ecosystem and to really just have a good time and make friends as well, right? Make these connections. And the second part of your question was around how these events are changing and how they're becoming more Agentforce and data cloud and AI centric. And yes, that's absolutely the case. I think you'd be hard pushed to go to a Salesforce community event in the next year that didn't mention the word Agentforce at least 100 times, right? So I think what's great is those events and that network provides people the opportunity to not just go and meet in person and network, but to also learn as well. And I know SoCal Dreaming will have a lot of sessions focused around Agentforce, data cloud, and AI. And we actually ran a session with a local Salesforce partner here called High Tide. And High Tide and myself, the guy called Josh Nelson, he runs High Tide. He's fantastic. He's been a great person for me to network with and build a relationship with. And myself and Josh put on an event with their own company, which is now Salesforce, I guess. And we talked about AI and data just 2 weeks ago in San Diego. And it was an amazing event where people were having like a very passionate, active discussion around the use of AI, the guardrails that need to be in place with AI, and then how you can really stand out as an individual at an organization that's curious about the use of AI. And that was the most impactful part of the conversation for me personally, is that there's a huge opportunity now for anyone that wants to build their career with AI as a focal point of it, to be a thought leader and to be the person that makes that first step within their organization to say, hey, here's an AI use case that I found with Agentforce, right? This is what it can do. This is the proof of concept I've built, and this is the business problem it can solve. Don't wait for your business to bring you those problems. You find those problems, build a solution, and what's the worst that can happen? They say no because they don't have the money, they don't have the funding right now, but you're setting yourself apart, you're doing that self-learning, and coming to events like that just, I think, inspire people to do more of it. So yeah, right. Long answer to a short question, but hopefully that gives you some good context.
That's all great. And you mentioned the budget for Agentforce, and I've been hearing some rumors that pricing may be changing. The infamous $2 per conversation is, I think, one of the common objections. But despite that, you're
Mhm.
actively looking for talent because there are companies implementing Agentforce. I mean, that's kind
Right.
of the reality.
Hmm.
So, with that, I think more, I guess my audience, a lot of ways are people that take certifications, and that is one benchmark as to a certain level of skill. What are some certifications you're seeing that are rising in demand that some of these positions are potentially looking for or would be nice to have?
Yeah, look, I think Salesforce has done a good job of getting these new platforms and these new products built out on Trailhead, right? And then providing the opportunity to gain the certifications in them. So I think the AI certification, AI specialist changed to Agentforce, right? Is
Hmm.
that correct? It did,
Right.
yeah. So obviously, I think keeping up and staying in line with the latest releases of these certifications is important. It absolutely is. I think the data cloud certification is also very important because a lot of those concepts will flow into to Agentforce, right? Like you can have Agentforce without data cloud, but you will have concepts and aspects of data cloud built into Agentforce when you have it. So I think those two in particular, if you see Agentforce as something that you want to continue to build your career with, are very important. However, and sorry, Salesforce, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. I do think that the opportunity to then go and build these agents yourself and play in a sandbox and show what you've built in a GitHub, right? Or just as an example in an interview, that's more important to me, or just as important, right? Because the certifications are fantastic and it's proof of your effort that you've gone to learn, but building something and showing that off, that's just a little bit more fun, right? It shows a little bit more innovative skills. And I think there's no hiring manager in the world that's going to look at that and be like, yeah, that's not the right candidate for me. They're going to be engaged and interested and impressed. So I think certifications, absolutely. All of the newer ones that focus around data cloud and Agentforce are great. And then take those skills that you've learned, build something, play with something, and show off something. And I think that's going to make a really meaningful impact in conversations that people are having when they're trying to make a move into a position that involves Agentforce.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I was going to ask you, what are some ways that people can set themselves apart? So it sounds like getting your hands dirty and actually working with the software and having something to show for it, whether that's a portfolio, GitHub repo, whatever it may be, that gives you something tangible and something to speak to in the interviews as well. Any other advice that you have as far as standing out from the crowd and setting yourself apart in a competitive marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say that it does come down to the effort that you're going to put in going into an interview, right? And when you're having these conversations. I have a story that I've told 1,000 times, and it's not specific to the question you've asked, but it is, I guess, specific to the scenario you've talked about in a competitive marketplace. My brother got his first job in the advertising agency world back in must have been well 2009 or 2008, and he was interviewing at Saatchi and Saatchi at the time, and the task he had at hand was to put an advertising campaign together for a TV dinner or a microwave meal, as I think they're called in the UK, and a TV dinner here in the US, right? And they had to put the campaign together from start to finish. It was an actual product. It was an actual use case that the advertising agency was dealing with at the time. And he built the campaign and he delivered the presentation, but he also brought the product along with him and cooked a microwave dinner for the people they were interviewing and served it to them whilst he was interviewing. And it's just little things like that that make a big difference, right? And the microwave TV dinner version of that in Agentforce is what we've already talked about. It's getting those certifications, it's building these agents yourself. It's learning about the new tools and the new technologies that you can use in an AI forward world. And it's about showing that you've not necessarily mastered those concepts, but you've at least put the effort in to be on the way to mastering them, right? And showcasing that in a way that comes across as not arrogant, but as, look, I understand the importance of the role that you're hiring for, and I understand that AI and machine learning and LLMs are going to be a big concept in that role. So this is what I have done in order to be able to set myself apart and set myself up for success as I move into this role. And showcasing that in a way that stands out, I mean, it's always going to help, right? It's going to make the difference. And courses like the one you offer are so easy to sign up for and so easy to do. And it will add so much value to someone's credibility. It's just if that's where you want to take your career and that's where you're looking to step into, it's a no-brainer for me to do things like that.
Excellent. So I think to round things out, I always like to end with like a call to action. And so for both of you, Jessica and Ross, what would you advise for those that are watching? What would be that call to action? What do you hope that people will take away and do? And that could be reaching out to you individually for a career or a partner company looking for talent or whatever it may be. What is that call to action? What is your hope, the end results or dream results that would come from this conversation that we had today?
Yeah, I would say just continue to be genuinely curious and definitely reach out to us. We're always happy to help and connect and can't say enough about this ecosystem. But absolutely go and put together a proof of concept or work on a use case if you have an opportunity to do so. But play around in a playground organization and create a sample or even a demo of recording yourself doing that. Any hackathon wins if you're attending TDX or any similar conferences and participating in a hackathon. They even have some virtual ones now that you can look into and sign up and then get on a team to compete. And there's actually a lot of great prizes available, so maybe a little bit of an incentive there too.
So those
But
kind of
again,
prizes, fantastic, aren't they?
yeah, yeah, a lot of money. I don't see why if you're already playing around and doing this, you wouldn't go and see if you're able to compete and win. But um, yeah, certifications again, boot camps, really anything that just illustrates your experience and that always will add value and set you apart. Um, but yeah, go sign up for Mike's boot camp too if you're listening.
Agent
You
Force
haven't
Academy.
already. Yes.
Agentforce Academy.
Yeah. How about you, Ross?
I just think what Jess said it really well there. Just be curious about the future of technology, right? And that doesn't just need to be Agentforce. It doesn't just need to be AI, but it's difficult to ignore that they're at the focal point of the Salesforce environment and ecosystem right now. So I think embrace it. It's a level playing field. No one has a leg up on one another at this point. It's an equal opportunity for someone who's been working with Salesforce for 1 year as it is for someone who's been working with Salesforce for 20 years, right? Um, get those proof of concepts built, play around with it, become better with it day by day, understand the underlying technology and infrastructure that plays into AI as well, because that's going to be important as we move into this new modern revolution. And yeah, I mean, look, obviously we've talked about the work that we do and the customers that we serve, and I guess the shameless plug from our end is that we generally do care about people finding the right talent that's going to make a difference to their organization. We're very big proponents of finding people that have specializations in not just the clouds that the companies are using, but also the industries that the companies are in. So if you're looking and thinking about hiring in the Salesforce ecosystem and you feel like you might need support in doing that and finding the right people, I don't think you wouldn't enjoy a call with myself or Jessica or the team here, and we're all going to be very honest and transparent about the what we feel are the right types of people to bring to the table, and yeah, do it in a very consultative, very relationship focused way. So we'd love to hear from more people like that, of course, and yeah, um, that's my
Perfect.
2 cents.
Perfect. You two are rock stars. This has been a great conversation.
You
And I
too.
was really intrigued because I teach this live, and I talk to a lot of people about Agent Force. And there's certain pockets of the ecosystem that are reticent to it or doubtful or whatever. But you represent what's actually happening out in the marketplace and seeing those job postings. and that being tangible and real, and the number of those increasing over time. That's,
Yeah.
from my view, what is happening. And those job postings are probably the most popular thing that we look at in our portfolio power hours, which are part of Agentforce Academy. Is here's a new job from the Indiana Pacers using Agentforce. You better believe other NBA teams are going to be using Agentforce, or here's an Agentforce thing happening in the United Football League. It is just a matter of time before it's in the NFL. So, I can be guilty of looking around corners maybe a little too much, but I see this as the future. And so that's why I jumped all over the chance to talk to you both, just kind of raise awareness and to just hopefully help people make these connections and keep that human in the loop, or that human element of making those networking connections. And you both really represent that entirely. So I appreciate both your time today, and thank you so much.
No, I just
thank you.
I think one point there quickly is you've talked about people actively posting for these requirements, right? And I think people look at those job postings, and if they don't have that hands-on Agentforce experience, they might think they're not right for that job, but that's not true, right? You're only not right for that job if you're truly not curious, right? And you're truly not doing that self-learning. So when you see that opportunity, don't feel like because you don't have that experience, you're not relevant for that job. Because if that's the case, they've got a field of maybe 100 candidates in the whole of the United States to choose from, right? So be confident, go apply for it, do the self-learning, and why couldn't you be the person who gets that job at was it the NBA team you mentioned?
Yeah, Indiana Pacers. Yeah,
at the Indiana Pacers, right? There's no reason why that couldn't be you, even if you've not had a chance to work with an agent yet.
perfect. Love it. All right. Thank you so much.